Men's 5,000 meter right now here at Lennon Central Stadium. Bill Rogers is with me. Doug Padilla is one of the men in the field. And when you talk about Doug Padilla, you're talking about a great 5,000 meter runner.
Charlie, Doug was ranked second in the world last year by Track and Field News. He was the Grand Prix 5,000 meter champion. He has not kind of shown the same kind of excellence this year, and that's very normal. When you're one of the best in the world, it's normal to have a little bit of an off year. However, Doug is great talent, which he's proven, and I think he's going to come on strong this year. I think he'll be in the top 5 in this race. What's important, though, is that there's another American in the race who's really come almost out of nowhere. He's run a very fast 3,000 on the track in Europe this week. His name is Terrence Brahm. He's from Indiana, and I think he's going to play a role in this race today. There's also several top Soviets in the field, and an Ethiopian is the fastest man in the field, Wodajo Bolti. He's the World Cup 10,000 meter champion last year.
Craig Masbach is also with us, and when you talk about this 5,000 meter, how about technique, Craig Masbach?
I can't hear a word.
Craig's having a little problems with his mic right now. Bill, how about technique? You can talk about it. You've been a distance runner.
Well, Charlie, the 5,000 meter is a race that requires a kick. If you don't have a kick, a strong finish in this race, you better not be in the 5,000 meter. It's not too different from the mile in that regard. So what we're looking for is not only to maintain contact with the leaders, you're looking at the top probably 6 or 8 men in the field. And you don't necessarily have to be leading this race to win, but you've got to be within striking distance, as the saying goes. Lasse Viren perhaps was the greatest exponent of that. He would hang back in about 6th or 8th place for the first 3 or 4 laps, and then he'd slowly move up. And you'll watch these runners do that today. So it's good to be back in around 4th or 5th position, which is really where Terrence Brahm is now. He's in 4th place, running very relaxed, looking very comfortable.
Right now in first place is Bulti from Ethiopia. Casey, also from Ethiopia, is in 2nd place. And now moving up to 3rd place.
There are more than 7 laps in this race. They go 7 laps and then a final kick to the finish. And that's, as I said, is going to be significant. This race is all going to boil down, I think, to the last lap or so. Though it's stringing out early. They've gone just over a half mile, and the race is stringing out already. It's strange, very strange, Charlie. What I've noticed, this is a big field. This is like an Olympic heat. There are about 20 men here. It's almost like a cross-country race.
23 to be exact, and we'll be back with more of the men's 5,000 meter in just a moment. We're back at Lennon Stadium as we continue with the men's 5,000 meters. World record, 13 minutes, 40 seconds. That's the world record held by Saeed Ouida of Morocco. Set that back in July in 1985. Our American top hope is in the race right now, Doug Padilla, who's ranked #2 in the world last year, but he's not doing too well right now, is it,
he's
Bill?
not in striking distance, I don't think. He's a fast finisher, but he's got about 8 guys ahead of him. I think Terrence Brahm's in better position. He's in about 4th position. However, he is on the inside of the track, and he looks like he's a bit boxed. There's not too much time left in this race, so he can't allow this to happen to him. And there he is. He's pulling out now to the outside, and that's a good move. He wants to stay in position to move with just a lap or 2 to go, because this race is going to really pick up at that stage.
David Cho from Kenya is out in front, while a young man by the name of Kerwe Umbesla from Tunisia is in 2nd place right now in the all-yellow uniform. He's moved up to 2nd place. Now there's a move on the outside, and we'll try to pick up exactly who that is. I believe that is a Soviet runner.
There are 3 Soviets in the race, 2 Americans, 2 men from the GDR, 3 Ethiopians.
Dasko, Dmitriev, and Tashenko, all from the Soviet Union, all bunched right there together.
Yeah, I think this is going to, as I said, this is a kicker's race. And here's Bolti from Ethiopia moving back up towards the front. He's got a good kick.
And we'll be back for the kick
and he's maintaining
and the finish of the men's 5,000 meter in just a moment. Stay with us.
Thank you, Charlie Neal. A name you heard through the intermediate stages of the 5,000 meter is Doug Padilla. You should be hearing him at the end. A graduate of Brigham Young University, Doug is a Mormon who runs 40 to 60 miles every week. As an undergraduate, he served his required 2-year missionary stint in El Salvador. Since then, he has devoted his time to training and competing. In the 5,000 meter, Doug took first place honors at the 1985 U.S. Nationals and World Cup events. Here's our Goodwill profile.
I guess you don't really know when you've hit your peak until you're on your way down the other side. So I'm a person that's taken a long time to grow up. I've always been maybe 4 or 5 years behind myself physically. And being 29, that says I'm approaching my peak, but then I think physically I'm a few years behind that. I think I have a few years left to go before we do top out. I'm not a person that actually sits down and says, okay, I want to do this year and I want to do that next year, whatever. I kind of take a season at a time. We kind of look at the schedule and set it up so that we have the right number of races with the proper rest between them. And that kind of determines how the season goes. You know, you may want to run in 2 places, but they may be too close together or something like that. So I kind of look at it that way, and then I just set the goal. I'd like to run well throughout the season. I'd like to be competitive and be strong and be able to last all the way through the end. I recognize that the relationship with my wife is something that is very important to me. She's my best friend. She's a person I enjoy doing things with, enjoy spending time with. And so it's fun for me to have her give me the support that she does in competition, you know, and that. She travels quite a bit at the time with me, and that helps me. I think I race better when I have my family there. Though, you know, as you get more kids, it makes it more difficult. One's a challenge. We're expecting another in September, and so that's going to make it even more difficult, so I'm sure I'll probably be on my own more. I think a strong religion is something that helps to give you direction. You know, it helps you to know what it is you want in life, what's important, what things aren't important. And I don't know, that's helped me to feel comfortable with the way I'm doing, with the goals that I have. The church, you know, puts a strong emphasis on family, and I can see why, because that's a basis for your family, and that's a basis for your relationships, and helps you to feel good about yourself when you have a good relationship with your wife and your children. And I don't know, my religion is just, I don't know, it's hard to put down in a simple sentence. It's just, it really is everything. It sets a direction for all aspects of my life.
Doug has also shown that he has good speed. After winning a slow but tactical 5,000 meter at the USSR Japan Triangular meet in Tokyo last September, he was asked if he could run the 800 meter the next day. He did, finishing a respectable 4th. Now the finish of one of the premier long-distance races in track and field, the men's 5,000 meter, and for the call, let's go back to Charlie Neal.
Charlie Neal. Charlie Neal along with Bill Rogers back with you here with the men's 5,000 meter. And out in front,
Dmitriev of the Soviet Union, Charlie, is the guy who's taking control. They are lapping runners now. It's just like the Olympics. People are being passed. However, David Choge of Kenya keeps trying to maintain the lead here. So we've got a race that's really changing hands. The Americans have never led. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to win, because Brahm is still in striking position.
3
He's in
laps
about 4th
to go.
or 5th.
10:43.63 is the time that you see on the screen right now. The world record, 13 minutes flat. Saida Ouda of the Morocco set that back in July of 1985. Padilla is starting to make his move. Padilla from the United States is starting to make his move on the outside. Padilla is now in 3rd place. Doug Padilla, ranked number 2 in the world, 1985, 29 years of age, World Cup winner, beating Bolte and Heine in a slow race.
Terrence Brahm is right with Padilla in 4th, so the Americans are well positioned. Soviet runners in 1-2. Mikhail Dasko is in the lead with Dmitry Dmitriev
in 2nd place. But Padilla is hanging in there.
Here comes Bolte of Ethiopia, the fastest man in the field on paper.
And
he's got the fastest time.
He is now moving into 2nd place. Bolte from Ethiopia. First at the World Cup in the 10,000 meter, third in the 5,000.
Americans are well positioned in fourth and fifth. Doug Padilla and Terrence Brom.
Again, the Soviet, Dasko, is still out in front, followed by Bulti from Ethiopia, who's now in second place, and Bulti now trying to move up. Again, a Soviet is in third place, and that's Dmitriev.
Dmitriev and Dasko from the Soviet Union, with Bulti of Ethiopia sandwiched between them. Right behind them, Doug Padilla.
Padilla had hung back throughout most of this race and then started to make his move with a little bit better than 2 laps to go right now. This is the men's 5,000 meter.
And
Sydney,
Charlie, they cannot forget Terrence Brom, because he's particularly known for having a good kick. And here he is. He's moving to the lead now. Here comes Brom.
Brom
They've
and
got
Padilla.
a lap to go. 2
And
Americans
one lap
in the lead,
is
a
left.
Soviet behind them.
And we're going to have one whale of a finish of the men's 5,000 meter.
There are 6 men in contention. 2
Brom
Soviets.
is number 1. Padilla is now moving out in front. He has just taken the lead away from his countryman Brom. As you look at the United States,
It could be a 1-2 finish, Charlie.
the men's 5,000 meter. Brom number 386 on the right, Padilla number 340 on the left.
Only 1 Soviet is in contention. It looks like he's going to take third, and the Americans will take 1-2.
And it's a race between the United States, Padilla and Brom.
They're coming off the corner.
Padilla on the outside, on the corner. There's the
Padilla's
time.
got it.
Padilla sprinting in the kick.
Brom trying to hold off
Brom
the
trying
Soviet.
to hold on for second. The Soviet is trying to pass him. It's going to be a close race for second.
Padilla
and
wins.
Brom will take second place in the men's 5,000 meter. Terry Brom second in the 5,000 meter. Padilla finished first. And it was Evgeny Ignatov of Bulgaria, looks like, finished third, or was it the Soviet who finished third?
Well, here's a replay, Charlie.
The last quarter was about a 54.
That's really opening up. That's that kick I was talking about. Here's Padilla finishing strong. Brom trying to hold off the Soviet runner, Dmitry Dmitriev. I believe that's Dmitriev in third. Whoever he is, he made it a tough race.
I believe that was Evgeny Ignatov of Bulgaria.
Was he a Bulgarian runner?
Who finished third. Right. But what a finish by the Americans, especially that strong kick by the young man we affectionately call Doug Padilla.
Yeah, I guess I called him wrong from the beginning, Charlie. He proved that he's determined to come back to be on top again this year.
So what a finish for Doug Padilla. With less than a lap left, he made his move past fellow American Terry Brom and then held him off to win. Doug Padilla, age 29, still had what it takes. He's enthusiastic about training and trained at altitude and never considered quitting. So at 29, he's more than competitive. He's the winner of the gold medal in the 5,000 meter race in the inaugural Goodwill Games. We'll be back to talk to you and show you modern pentathlon next. Stay with us.